It has long been a dream of mine to see brown bears in their natural habitat. I have tried on several occasions, but never succeeded. I hope I'll get the opportunity on my trip to Romania, where the bear is a symbol of the natural world and where the relationship between humans and bears has survived. Shepherds rub shoulders with them, people are familiar with them, and some locals even dress up in their skins. There are still several thousand bears in the Carpathians, and although the forest rangers try to keep them out of the cities, sooner or later they come into contact with humans. But what if I were to be next? My quest started in the capital, Bucharest. Bucharest literally means city of joy. Young people from across Europe come here to party. There are quite a few Orthodox monasteries. This is a really old church. It's huge. Proud to be European. There are European flags everywhere. Brilliant. My first Romanian bear. So I am here in Bucharest. 2 million people live in the capital, which I'm going to explore before I head off into the wilds, via Transylvania, the Carpathians, and hopefully brown bear territory. Let's go. I'm meeting Helmut, a wildlife photographer who travels the world, but whose favourite spot is just near his house in Bucharest. The locals call it the Little Delta, as opposed to the Big Delta on the Danube in the east of the country. Helmut is going to show me around this place, which is home to some amazing species rarely found in urban areas, and introduce me to a family of gypsies who are its last remaining inhabitants.
Bună ziua!
French? Speak French?
He's living with his family in the heart of this place.
Yes, exactly. 18 years.
18 years.
Excellent.
Fine? Good? Dracula. It's the name of the pig? Dracula.
They have a pig, a dog, cats and pigeons, and the house is home to 9 children and 2 parents. They built a shack here on the marshes, and they're the last remaining inhabitants. Isn't this great? And this is still Bucharest.
Then Helmut, what is the story of this place?
It was a normal neighborhood of the city.
Yeah.
Then Ceausescu he wants to redesign the whole city. So it was the plan to have an artificial lake, but seems that it was wrong. So more or less it was abandoned after just one try. Step by step during years, everything changed. The nature conquered the whole place.
And what kind of species can we observe here?
The ornithologists, they count 99 or 100 species of birds.
Including ducks, swans?
I mean, starting from the most common for any city to very rare and protected, like red duck.
Nature has reclaimed the area. Birds have come here to nest. There are lots of fish. There are very few cities in the world where nature has encroached to this extent. Bucharest harbours other species which are rarely found in cities, such as bats. Not surprising in the land of Dracula. Their greatest defender is Dragos, a biologist who has taken it upon himself, with the help of a friend who is a vet, to protect these nocturnal animals here in the Romanian capital. They take in and care for injured or sick specimens and then set them free. We're going with them to release a party-coloured bat into one of the city's parks.
It seems to be quite accepted by people that bats are living in this city. It's not like people doesn't seem to be afraid of them, or
sometimes there are superstitions, and we try to rule them out, because when they start thinking about bats clinging to their hair, or
they are legends. Like
yes, exactly. But some people still need this guidance, to help them understand that bats are actually not that bad. If we actually extract the bats from this urban ecosystem, we will feel that our insect population might grow. So we just want to inform the people that they need to live amongst animals, and they need to understand that they're very important for this ecosystem.
We're almost in the wilds here, despite being in the city centre.
This is our bathhouse.
Wow, it's a cathedral.
We have to climb it.
Great. You okay? Can live in this box.
100, maybe more.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Excellent.
Somehow destruct their environment, and they manage somehow to live even with this destruction, with the flats, with all the constructions. So if they adapted to us, why can we adapt to them?
It's a good word.
This is Ceausescu's palace. The dictator had it built for himself so he could tower above the city of Bucharest. But this isn't helping me find bears in their natural habitat. I want to observe the relationship between humans and bears, which seem to be very significant in Romania. I must head deep into the Romanian countryside, across the Carpathians and Transylvania, leaving the city behind. I'm hoping that on my way to see bears, I will also see European bison, which have staged a comeback in the Carpathians. I need to explore the wilds again. So here goes. I'm heading west to Armenis, one of the few places in Europe where you can still find bison in their natural habitat. On my way, I stop off at a refuge run by Mate Lonut. He cares for injured wild animals and, wherever possible, releases them back into the wild. I think he has had previous dealings with bears.
About the bear, have you already received some cubs here or adult ones? Or?
We actually had 3 bears that were from the former zoo, and they were moved to Zărnești. I don't know if you know the bear rescue center there. So
maybe I will see them there because I'm gonna go. He likes to be close to humans.
Yes,
it's crazy.
This is a problem with him. He likes to be close to humans. So in the wild, he will probably die.
And there is a big problem, there is many people keeping animals in their place, wanting them as pets. It's not the destiny of these animals that are wild species. And
a lynx can catch a stag weighing 100 kilograms. They are real predators. They are perceived as big pussycats, but are more similar to cougars or North American pumas. They can catch animals who are 4 times as heavy as they are. We really should avoid upsetting the natural order of things. Otherwise, we end up with strays who spend their lives in cages.
Bună ziua!
Bună ziua! Thank you. Bine ai venit!
Welcome!
You have some visit from the bears sometimes?
3 or 4 years ago, a villager came across a bear beside the lake. He lost his voice from the shock.
Okay.
It's a strange and lovely feeling to be deep in the Transylvanian mountains, staying with an 85-year-old couple. I planned to get up at dawn and track down some beasts with horns. European bison were reintroduced into the area by a team of researchers that included Mate. The female leader of a group of bison wears a tracking collar, allowing us to track her with signals it emits every 2 hours.
Do you think that it's the bison's bed?
Yeah, it's a trace made by a bison last night probably.
Ah, last night? Oh, it's huge. This is one? Oh gosh.
Probably a male, a big one.
Oh, right. So the male.
What can be the weight of a male bison? Like the bison can weight maximum?
Mature bison can have even a ton.
Ah, yeah. 1,000 kilos. And they can be aggressive with humans, or normally they?
Usually no, they are not aggressive, but when it's the mating season, you need to be very careful, just to keep the distance of 50 meters from them.
Okay. What happened here?
Here is the place where bison died, actually, quite right there.
Ah, we see the hair. Okay. Oh, this, yeah.
This bison died probably because of the wild. I told you that we had a problem with wild dogs.
I heard something.
Bison. I can hear them. They're below us. There must be a group of 6 or 7. They're coming out. They're coming out of the cave. There are 2 of them, and I can see a 3rd one. That's the matriarch with her transmitter collar.
But she also has some scratches because she's involved in lots of fights because she's the leader of the herd.
Oh, yeah. They are actually losing the winter fur.
Yeah, they are losing the winter hair now.
What is amazing is that this is one of the few places in Europe where you can still see the European bison, because elsewhere they've been wiped out through hunting. They became extinct in France in the 8th century, and they were heading for extinction during the 20th century in Poland, their last original wild habitat. But since then, they've been reintroduced to several places in the Romanian Carpathians. There are only about 20 of them now on the slopes of the Carpathian Mountains. The return of the bison is good news for the bears because their grazing helps create clearings which other animals need to find food. It is time for me to head for bear territory. Officially, there are about 6,000 in the Carpathians, but that figure is hard to verify. Former dictator Ceausescu granted himself exclusive rights to hunt them. He must have killed over 2,000 bears. It's funny because both the waterways and forests use a bear for their logo. You sense that it's an important animal in this neck of the woods.
Urso? They live in the forest? No? Far?
Right, I'll go there.
Mulțumesc.
Brasov is the gateway to bear country. The city was built in an area inhabited by lots of bears, so there have been some unfortunate encounters. Cosmin and Ramon, 2 forest wardens, are committed to ensuring that humans and animals coexist peacefully.
Here in Brasov, we have the project regarding bear and people, and especially in this area, where we have it in the past, a lot of conflicts.
Between the bears and the people, because the bears are approaching the city.
Yeah, come in the city for the garbage, and bear meets people direct in the front. And we have case when the bear kill the people.
Really?
Yeah, we have.
We see perfectly that like the forest touches the city.
Yeah, the city is like a barrier between natural habitats, because the bear, they come from one habitat to another habitat.
I see.
In this neighborhood, around, we have 42 bears.
Okay, tonight we have 42 bears in the city.
Yeah.
Let's be careful. Stay at home. Stay at home.
They go inside in the house.
Yeah.
I had a lot of cases when they go in the house.
They enter the house?
In the house, in the apartment.
I imagine myself with a bear entering my kitchen.
But he's knocking.
It doesn't knock.
When people go there in the night, he was sick.
At
and he stay there on the bank, and he vomit, and the mother bear come with cups there to eat his vomit, and then this guy, he wake up and scare the mother, and the mother kill him.
It's a real story.
Yes, it's a real story.
2007.
Yes, real story. And the mother bear start to dig to put the body inside in the soil.
My God.
Yeah.
It's a complex relationship between bears and men. It's not something easy to solve.
It's not so easy. Yeah.
And what are precisely the techniques to make the bear stay in the forest?
With complementary food, it's important to keep them away from garbage.
Okay.
And we make some special garbages area with fence. They can't arrive inside. So if they can't eat, they don't come.
Okay.
Right. So residents have started putting their bins in cages or using these bunker bins to stop the bears from scavenging from them.
Pour éviter que les ours viennent manger dedans, quoi.
A certain amount of adrenaline is released when you come up to places like this. I really feel it here. I have goosebumps. It's actually quite exhilarating. It's so exciting to be in bear territory. Bears love rotten wood because they find larvae, insects, caterpillars and ants' nests inside to feed on. All it takes is one scratch with their claws and they can extract it all. They sink their claws into the wood. It's like a larder for bears. There are claw marks here. The bear must have rubbed itself against the wood. There are hairs. That's proof of a brown bear. I'm going to find Cosmin to try and get a sighting of a bear in its natural surroundings. I'm on the alert, though, just in case I bump into a bear or two.
What is exactly your job?
Sometimes we feed the bears. We keep them out from the city. We put them food in the middle of the forest, so they can come here and eat. They don't go in the city to eat on the garbage.
You think we have a chance to see the brown bears?
Yeah, I hope they will come.
They're my first white bears, brown bears. Bears are still part of people's lives here. They're hung on the walls for decoration. Perhaps these bear skins are more than just a trophy. I want to understand what lies behind the adoration of bears in this country. It's crazy. Personally, I have never had dinner under a wolf before or drunk beer with a bear skin on the wall next to me. It's crazy. You can tell just how close to the wilds we are here. It's weird. I have no idea where I am.
Rémy, bună ziua.
Patru.
Okay, Rémy, you already met the bear in the wild?
Yeah, of course. I've seen them right here. They got through the fence.
Okay.
And they went off in that direction.
Okay. And you what do? You are sleeping and then you wake up, you come down?
Well, I didn't stay in bed. I went out, ran towards the bear in an attempt to save my sheep.
And what do? You shout, whoa, whoa!
Yeah, I only came out of my hut when I heard the bear arrive.
And what did he do?
Yeah, it ran away. That's normal. I mean, it is an animal after all. They don't confront humans. You know, unless it's a female and she has her cubs with her. In that case, she might attack you. You have to be really careful.
What kind of dogs are they?
They're sheepdogs.
They are the guardians of the place.
Yeah, they guard the sheep.
How do they protect the sheep?
They bark.
Okay. But they don't run after the bears. They run after until the bear disappears. You would prefer the nature without predators, or you are happy to see that they are living around?
Nah, I've been going into the forest since I was a boy. I'm used to bears. That's why I'm not scared.
Which advice would you give to the shepherds of my country who seem to be afraid of the bears in order to live more in harmony with them?
Bring them to me and I'll teach them. That way they won't be scared when they go back to France.
Okay, I will send you. Arpakash.
He'll put some hair on your chest.
Strong man.
They're pouring me some more brandy. No!
Can I go in?
Thanks.
Merci. Arrivedere.
Comănești is a legendary place in Romania. Bears are celebrated here at a unique festival during which men dress up in bear costumes and dance in their honor. This tradition is of gypsy origins. The story goes that the founding father of all gypsy communities was a bear. Daniel, who lives deep in the valley, wants to initiate me into this ritual. I have no idea what to expect.
Here you live in the middle of the animals like that, like with the cow, sheep, dogs.
Yes,
bear.
of course. Goats too.
No.
Yes, yes.
They have all the farmyard animals.
First we eat, and then we do the bear dance.
So we warm up, we drink, and then we dance. How cute is this?
Et alors?
Look at that cute face. Apparently, a lynx ate part of her udder. Unbelievable. It means the milk keeps spurting out of her teats. She can't hold it back. Apparently, a lynx tore off part of her udder. Hey, don't headbutt her.
Daniel, you built that?
Yes, when we arrived here, there was nothing. We came with a tent and a dog. We produce 90% of what we eat. I castrated the pigs.
Castrat. You do it?
Of course, I do the vaccinations too.
The knife?
Fetching water involves descending a real assault course. There is no running water, so they go to the river. They have built a staircase, but I need to watch my step.
I take. Okay.
This is a Caucasian shepherd dog. They're quick to attack and they have very strong front legs, so they make good sheepdogs. What a big baby. Here it is tradition to eat meat. People are winking at me, implying that I might be eating bear. I'm not sure.
Especially here in this place, in Assau, in Comănești, in this region, like you are having some traditional dances or rituals about the bear.
A long time ago, we used to dance with bears. Gypsies brought them to the villages to dance. They put them on burning iron plates, on glowing embers, like on a barbecue.
If I understood well, at the end of the year, you continue this tradition, but now it's you dancing with a bear skin and not a true bear anymore.
Yes, and I've inherited all my bear skins. They're over 30 years old. Today, donning a bearskin is like donning a mask. We use them to chase away any bad spirits which have accumulated in our house over the course of the year. We come with drums and we have a party to chase away any evil spirits. That is our tradition. We have chosen bears because they bear a strong resemblance to us humans. A bear's corpse bears a strong resemblance to a human corpse.
Al doilea rând, e o chestie înfiorătoare. E o chestie care disperie.
Bears are so terrifying that they give you goosebumps and you run away. I think that's why we choose to use bears to chase away evil spirits. The heaviest skin I've danced in weighed 60 kilograms. I danced and walked with it on my back for 2 days and 2 nights. I don't know where I get the strength, but it's a real pleasure. There's something unreal about it.
They are dressing me up as a bear. I don't know how this is going to pan out. They're getting ready next door. The guys are starting to bawl and shout.
Okay.
I'm beginning to feel more and more like a bear. Wearing a bearskin is amazing. During the ceremony, everyone turns into a bear. They make bear noises. I tried to do as they do. I stood next to one guy and he swiped at me. Bears aren't that gentle with one another. They jostle and growl, and yet they live alongside one another. It's quite impressive watching these people transform themselves. They don bearskins and turn into bears. It's a sort of exchange. That was a wonderful experience with really genuine people. Deep down, I was reassured by the fact that these skins don't come from poaching, but from legal bear hunts. Each year, the government grants permission for hunters to kill about 550 bears. Daniel and his friends pay homage to the animal. Their intentions seem noble to me. They are concerned with maintaining this priceless cultural rapport between the two species, and I think it's worth maintaining.
Daniel. Good guy. La rivedere.
I am now heading for Jérémy, which is home to one of the largest bear sanctuaries in the world. It is home to 88 bears, all victims of abuse, who now live a free and easy life there. On my way there, I hear about a mountain village where a bear is kept in a cage. I'm in a sort of ski resort. It is out of season, so there's practically no one here. The only year-long resident here is a bear. It is the town's mascot, and its name is Baloo. I think it's this way. There he is. Baloo.
Ooh,
this is Baloo. Incredible. That breathing. Lots of people used to keep bears. Bears were picked up by... For a long time, lots of places like this kept bears in captivity. There were people who earned their living from them, and then others who simply wanted a bear at the bottom of the garden. They have always been a symbol of power. People would just appropriate them, and unfortunately, some still do. Bears develop tics and obsessive-compulsive disorders. Look how it always puts its paw in the same holes in the mud. That's why the enclosure has these pits in it. It keeps placing its paws in those holes, and it doesn't look too happy because it's living in a small cage on its own. Seeing it drag its feet in the mud like that, in its own excrement, it's quite sad. You can see the rust dripping down from those poles into the drinking water. This bear has metal on its fur, on its paws, and its saliva. It is living in a really unhealthy environment. She's blowing cigarette smoke into its face. It's desperate for contact, because it's all alone in there. Chin up. You'll get out one day. I feel for Baloo. It's tough seeing him like that. I'd love to be able to open his cage, but that wouldn't even help him. He wouldn't know how to survive in the wild. I tried to console myself in a place which, after nightfall, receives some unusual visitors. I'm staying in a hotel which is regularly visited by brown bears who come down from the mountains. I can hear growling. That's incredible. And there are the bears. Amazing. Wild bears. So great. To find myself a few meters from brown bears, having spent so long looking for them, is a dream come true. I'm arriving in a very special place. It is a bear sanctuary. Apparently, they take in injured, maltreated or neglected bears who are used to living with humans, and they rehabilitate them here. They won't be returned to the wild, but they will be happy here. There is nowhere else in Europe quite like this. This is incredible. What is this? Is it a control station? What is it for? To prevent bears from escaping or humans intruding?
Intrusions, malicious intent.
What's great about this sanctuary is that it gives them back the freedom that was stolen from them years ago.
Right.
They're released into small enclosures first so that they can get used to having their freedom. And when they arrive, they're all locked in a virtual cage.
That is interesting.
You get bears walking round in circles for ages, despite having almost 80 hectares to play with.
So they stay in a small area because in their minds they're still in captivity.
In their minds, they are in captivity. Freedom has to be learnt too.
Do you see the sanctuary as a necessary evil? Is it about atoning for our mistakes, which, in an ideal world, will never be repeated?
It is a necessary evil.
When we release them, and we see them head straight for a pool or to climb a tree, then we have a moment of satisfaction. It doesn't last long, because you soon turn your mind to the other bears.
To the other bears that you need to save.
Still in captivity.
It's like a poolside restaurant. They get fed here, and behind there is a pond. Here, It is funny how they no longer behave like the herbivores they are. Bears are 80% vegetarians, not the bloodthirsty carnivores you might imagine them to be. In certain seasons, bears do prey on mammals, but mammals form a tiny part of their diet. These bears will never be set completely free because they might approach humans and pose a potential threat. If they did that, they'd be shot. So this is the best solution for them. This bear seems to have quite a life story. It was blinded as a cub by its owner, who pierced its eyes with a needle. Max spent his life on the road, travelling from village to village with a bear leader who put him on show and blinded him so he could pose for tourist photographs. Here we have a bear displaying stereotypical behavior. Bears who have lived in confined spaces repeat the same movement over and over, like a tick. The most common one is pacing alongside a fence. It might be in straight lines, up and down, or in figures of 8, or round and around in circles, like here. This bear has 7.5 hectares to explore and trees to climb, but it repeats what it has always known, namely a movement learned in a cramped space. This is nice. The sanctuary has come up with a great idea. It has installed beehives with bees producing honey, especially for the bears, so they have their own honey factory. And it is a well-known fact, especially by Winnie the Pooh, that bears like honey. However, it is a less well-known fact that bears eat bees. This is amazing. Anthills are real bear magnets. If you find an anthill in the wild that has been ripped apart, it is often a bear that is to blame. So, here you have a colony of ants. It is actually quite a big one. What is nice about big anthills is the sound they make. It's a sort of rustling sound. That's lovely to see. The target of my trip, Târgu Mureș in northern Transylvania. This is where Chobi lives. He is a leading expert and fervent champion of bears. It is with him that I might be lucky enough to see brown bears in their natural habitat, in the wild.
Up until now, it's not even on the official bear distribution map. So
really?
There are no bears. In reality, there is hunting, damages, dens, females with cubs, everything that you can imagine.
Then it's a good place to study the behaviors of wild bears and plus the interaction between bears and people.
Definitely.
Okay.
The problem is that, for example, in these very rural communities with very isolated villages, if the people get very upset about the damages and the compensation system in reality in Romania is not really working, or it's only working like occasionally, then they might end up in taking the law into their own hands, you know, in the sense that they will put out snares or
there is some poachings like that.
There is poaching. Yeah. So to try to mitigate this somehow, what we do is that we have educational activities and also these informal meetings with villagers or with shepherds.
Are they the best experts of bears in some way because they cohabitate with them?
But they have this local knowledge which you cannot really reproduce. That's why I think it's really good actually to work together with this kind of local people.
Sometimes bears attack our sheep. They're crafty and they stay away from the dogs.
Do you like the bear? Like, do you have a good feeling to them?
Yes, despite that, I still like them.
So what I find really neat about this place is that you can walk on this road and you will never notice it, you know, normally.
You mean that the bear, one bear, spends all winter here? Yeah. Like
they give birth within these structures.
Really? It's a female? I am curious to see that from closer now.
It's so small.
Then we can enter that.
Yeah.
I'm in a bear's den. Amazing.
Impressionnant. Ah, but it's big.
It's not that small as you would say from the outside. Then.
Wait, yes, there are claw marks. Incredible. I'm in a bear's den. Who would have thought? I feel like an intruder, though. What if the bear comes back?
They never bring food inside, never.
No, they are not. While they are spending the winter, they are not eating or drinking anything.
We're going to put corn in the traps. Chobi is set to try and catch a bear. Several times a year, he catches bears and puts tracking collars on them. We're going to restock the traps. The cage.
It's huge.
This Saturday we have caught a bear here. It was a young female that we anesthetized and then mounted one of these GPS collars on her. So for 110 weeks, that's a little bit more than 2 years, we will be able to hopefully continuously monitor the way she uses her habitat. By this, basically we are trying to gather scientific data that would allow us to better plan both conservation and management actions.
It is not lived as something a bit insulting for you, I mean, to trap plus to film like the king of the forest in a little trap.
Yeah, and I feel a little bit sorry for them, but this is the only way we can gather this kind of data, you know, I mean, it's...
Then they forgive you.
Yeah. Normally the door stands on this small support. Now, there's this wire, the bait is hanged there, and if the bear pulls on it, then basically this will come down like that. The support comes out from under the door, and then the door closes with speed. We have actually seen this the first time. Luckily, it jumped out. That movement was so fast that I was looking with the binocular, and you could only see the bear standing like 4 meters away from the trap, you know. Then that happened in less than half a second. It's really unbelievable. If I would not have seen this, I would not believe it. And that's why we decided to actually only use one door, because it's safer.
It's crazy to imagine how the bear can be like fast and nervous with that big size and this image we have of a very...
Yeah. People tend to forget what kind of animal this is in the end. To give you an idea of why I was saying that in Romania bears have to coexist with people, because there is not enough room. This is roughly 300 kilometers or so.
And you did 1,000 and more.
This is 2 years of data.
Wow.
And these empty spots are the villages. So she's going
and
like
she
this
goes
around them.
Crazy. If you have a walk around your own village,
you
can
will not
cross 10 then without knowing. Like
without knowing, that's the...
How old are they?
They are usually born somewhere in January.
Okay. Watching at this beautiful image, like we understand why people can fall in the trap of finding these cubs so cute and try to keep them as soft toys in some way.
This is a problem because, I mean, of course they are very cute for a few months, but then at the end of the summer, when it's like, I don't know, like 30 to 40 kilos, it has the power to kill you already.
Of course.
Chobi recommends another hide where bears might come to feed, but he warns me that it is more than likely to be another tawny-coloured beast from the forest that comes and pokes its snout in. Tomorrow we will explore bear country in broad daylight.
Here we are in an observatory, but while we are waiting for the bears, there is always images coming to my mind, coming up like that. This image and this fact, historical fact that the bear was always very close to human beings. And I've read too about stories that some women had some natural or legendary children with the bear.
I think it's with a number of species that represent power, represent courage. That in people it's always like a mixture of admiration and fear.
If we manage seeing wild bears into the wild, being out of a hide or observatory, we will observe that they will probably flew.
They are definitely actively trying to avoid people. They are trying to adapt to this human presence, which humans are everywhere now. So for him to survive, he needs to adapt to our presence.
We're in Choby's village, hoping to see bears. He lives in a very traditional village with horses and carts passing, animals everywhere. The brown bear, king of the forest, in the wild in broad daylight. Am I going to be afforded the privilege of seeing one? There may be lots of bears in these mountains, but they tend to stay away from humans. And you need to have a hunter's beady eye or Choby's flair to be lucky enough to spot one.
See? Yeah. It comes like this. The ones from the hind legs, they are very, very similar actually to human footprints.
Okay.
We're very close to the bears. They could appear at any moment. We're lured by their presence. It's strangely calming.
I see. It's a female. It's a bit of female.
Are still rather small. They are not really able to follow their mothers on a long distance. These are cubs from last year. So.
Okay. But then, until this point, she seems to be a good mom. If she managed
Definitely. To... I mean, they have already passed this very critical first year age. And their mother gradually starts to teach them what to eat. But they will anyway need their mother for a long period still. And they do invest a lot of time and energy really in trying to avoid the big males.
What would happen if they cross a big male?
Something could go very wrong, it depends, but the dominant big males sometimes do kill the cubs. And mother bears, female bears employ, I think it's a very interesting strategy for this, to avoid this, is that they try to mate with several males. Because the males will remember the females that they mated with and they will leave them and their cubs alone.
Okay. And we see the hairs getting very up. Then what are the scents they use more?
The smell is incredibly powerful, the sense of smell. People frequently say that the bear has 7 times the smell of a bloodhound.
I cannot really get used to this in the sense that I get excited.
You still find it very precious, or?
But I think it is precious.
I find that incredible. In the middle of a totally human habitat, like human beings totally modified this place, and the bear adapted his behavior to be able to live here. Wow, you couldn't give me a better gift than this one.
Hey, it's actually, I really think that this is a gift for me as well, each time I see this kind of,
Good and evil both seem to spring to mind when we think of bears. But why is there this opposition of nature versus culture and origin versus civilization? Bears show little hostility towards humans. On the contrary, they adapt to us and to their environment, which we keep changing and which we do not show enough respect for. Cohabitation with these wild cousins of ours, whom we only fear out of ignorance, is perfectly possible. And these Romanians, each more passionate than the next, are living proof of that.